Savage Dragon 113 from February of 2004. That's a 4 or 5 month delay from issue 112. Let's get a look at that cover date. That's October of 2003. So yeah, that's a 5-month gap between issues here. For good reason. We have changed printers. So this issue was printed in Canada, just a standard floppy text weight paper here. But the next two issues, including this one, are printed in Korea. They have a nice cardstock cover, all for that same $2.95 cover price. Then for issue 115, a 100-page perfect bound behemoth. This one was printed in the good old US of A. And then finally, we returned to Canada for issue 116 to print this one. So a whirlwind tour across the globe to get these comics printed, all just to end up right back where we started. So, we've got some classic dragon villains here on the cover, Open Face and Octopus. Let's check this one out. Onto the credits. What the hell? Vicious Circle Rising. Due to the peculiar panel placement in this Titanic tale, there was no space available to plop the tumultuous title and the cavorting credits. But fear not, friends, far be it from your humble host to shortchange our frantic fanatics, or to do anything without our scintillating share of the credit. Erik Larsen, writer-artist, Bill Crabtree, colorist, John Workman, letterer, and Josh Eckhorn can laugh about it now, but at the time, he found the World Trade Center incident to be pretty upsetting. Hey, we got 9/11 jokes here, pretty good. So, why is this inside cover page crowded? This is another experiment by Erik Larsen. A simple plan. Start a comic with 20 panels on the first page, and then 19 panels on the next page, 18 on the following, all the way down to 3, 2, and then 1 splash page as the final image. Larsen says that he had the panel layout complete before he ever knew which issue he would attempt to use it. So he's kind of waiting for a story that would fit and make sense. And this was it, issue 113. So we are at the funeral of a fallen comrade. If you remember last issue, Dart was brutally murdered by her ex-boyfriend, Mako. Very sad. And this is actually the second funeral that Dragon has attended this month. Over in Invincible number 8, released at the same time as this, Dragon made a cameo at the funeral for the Guardians of the Globe. So in walks Allison Summers, Dart's niece. She attracts the attention of Killcat, who thinks that this is a perfect time to put his moves on the young woman. He'll get a punch to the face and some busted glasses for that. So Allison Summers, we last saw her babysitting Angel way back in issue 45 there. It feels like a lifetime ago. And she'll become a more important character at some point here. Anyways, this funeral is a good scene to use up all these panels in the first few pages. You get some exposition out of the way. Got a bunch of reporters showing up, and they start harassing the dragon, looking for some TMZ sound bites regarding the firing of Harry Paratestes. Allison's angry about this, and she clears everyone out of there. Over to the villains plotting the dragon's demise. Octopus and Open Face, these men of science, have been instructed by someone unknown off screen to kill the dragon. Open Face isn't happy about this. He says they're not assassins. But they're going to try and cobble something together. Though one of them has a second thought. He's like, is it wise to kill off a guy who has saved the world a couple of times? Back at the dragon home, Jennifer also having second thoughts about this whole superhero thing. Meanwhile, Mr. Glum and Angel goofing off, jumping on the bed, plotting world domination. And then in the basement laboratory of Rex Dexter, he's skulking around there like a gargoyle. But enough of the family melodrama. Time for some action. Looks like Battle Tank and Dragon, they are flying over the danger zone, an inhospitable wasteland of freaks. Dragon's flying car is blown out of the sky. That's a bummer. Alex catches him, but the assault continues from this Kirby-inspired nightmare. This big blue robot is hell-bent on taking out our heroes. Battle Tank gets shot in the back. Dragon has to run for safety, carrying his teammate. ultimately fooling the gigantic robot into blasting his own head off. Then he falls right on top of both Alex and Dragon, sending them crashing into the sewers. How many panels are we down to? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then Octopus and Open-Face show up in their own robotic menace. Doesn't look like too much trouble, but they get their tentacles on the Dragon. They stick a cannon into his face, but like Bugs Bunny, Dragon knows physics, so he plugs the barrel with his fist, causing a backfire that blows up the entire contraption, Dragon included. Alex looks on in horror. 2 panels there. She sees his lifeless body floating upside down or face down in the muck. No sign of Open-Face or Octopus. Their fate is unknown. Alex runs to her former lover and plants a big kiss on the guy right as his wife and the rest of the Liberty League show up. Yikes. So this is a big splash page finale. I think the experiment worked pretty well. So we will move on to Mighty Man is back up, Chapter 5 by Mark Englert. The Never-Ending War Against Evil begins. Howard Niceman makes a long overdue appearance. He is off to stop a robbery. And so is Mighty Man. So the cops get there first and they run into this guy called the Slammer, this bald guy with the green gloves. He beat up Mighty Man and killed some hostages a couple issues back. But not this time. Mighty Man threatens to kill this dude. And then he's stopped by the Chicago PD, but Mighty Man declares a war on crime, starting right now. Then here's Nurse Ann Stevens. She used to be Mighty Man, but had her powers stolen by Bobby Berman, who is the new Mighty Man. But Nurse Ann Stevens, she's not really upset about all this. She says he's doing a great job, and she can get back to a normal life. So this is fine. Let's see. The war on crime continues. There's a high-speed police chase where Mighty Man stops the car by just stepping in front of it, causing a head-on collision, killing all the occupants of the vehicle. The cops pull up and say, it's just a bunch of teenagers. But Mighty Man says, fuck those kids. And then Larry proposes again to Anne, and this time she accepts. Cool. Have a couple of Freak Force pinups by Vic Bridges, former Freak Force artist. I like that Mighty Woman variant costume there. Then we have Comic Bits by Chris Giarrusso. G-Man and his brother, they would rather go fight a diabolical villain than have to eat their vegetables. On to Fanatics. Larson explains the unique design of this issue with the panel layouts, and then he also addresses, that this book was late with the new printer and all that stuff that we already mentioned earlier. We have the usual bit of reaction from the Peanut Gallery here for issue 111. Then there's a note about the back cover. So this was a possible cover for this issue, or for this cover. It's like just the same image, just like a different color scheme. Anyway, that's kind of cool. But that does it for this one. Next is issue 114. Adios.